Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. It is Friday. Thank goodness. It's been a long week. I've had a lot of things on my plate, and I'm looking forward to the weekend of just staying in and hanging out and not having too much on my plate. I will say we have a Golden Gal Network event on Saturday. I'm so excited. It is our Mimosas with the Gals. So if you're in the Kansas City area and interested in meeting new people, we bring the podcast community in real life, right? Like people looking for friends. So tickets are still available. You can find them, hop on. You can find it at Golden Gal Network on Instagram if you're in the Kansas City area. I would love to have you. So Friday episodes are our Ask the Gals segment. And I love going through these submissions. I love seeing what you guys are asking, what you're struggling with, and to think that I have a little bit of an impact on, your situation makes me feel so good. If you hear one of these submissions and you have advice for the person who asked it, be sure to sound off in the comments what you would do in this situation. Would love to hear your insight and your thoughts. Let's get right into it. I really want to become an author and write novels, but some people in my life don't think it's a proper career. AKA my parents and grandparents. They want me to major in something else since they're paying for college. How do I get them to trust me in making my own life decisions? Okay, this is super hard because if they're paying for college, then they feel like they probably should be involved in your decision making, right? Because they have skin in the game as well. But I wouldn't let that stop you from chasing after your dreams. And if you want to become an author, then be an author, right? Truly, the things that we want, sometimes we put on this aspirational pedestal of this is what it is. I have to work so hard to get there. Maybe one day I'll get there. But when we can embody and already think I am a writer, or I am an artist, or I am a podcaster, or whatever dream you're chasing after, or whatever you want to do, when we visualize and say we are already that thing, even if we're not quite as far along on our journey that we would like to be, maybe we're just starting, maybe we're a beginner, we can still start to embody the title of author or writer or, novelist of what you want to do. In regards to actually majoring at college, your major, and listen, it is so nerve-wracking when you are going to college and everyone wants you to have it all figured out, have your major lined out, what you want to do. Does that sound good? Are people going to take you seriously? Do they think that's a cool career, right? And we hold so much of our identity in what we go to college for, but in reality, it is a piece of paper that symbolizes the knowledge that you've accumulated. But guess what? We also take courses in gen eds, right? We take our, general studies that aren't specific to our major. We also are learning so much about human nature and connections and how society reacts to certain things, or people or the public or your college student body, right? If you think about all the things that we learn in college, it's not just your major. It's also working with others. Maybe this is the first time that you have moved away from home. So not only are you practicing independence, maybe it's the first time that you do laundry for yourself or cook yourself a meal or budget. There's so much more that goes into college than just the major, but everybody gets so caught up on what school did you go to? What did you major in, right? Because we think that will give us some insight to how a person is, but in reality, it's just a small little portion. So yes, what you choose to major in will have some sort of an alignment with your life. However, you're learning so much more than all that major has to offer. It's how your teacher is teaching. It's working in groups. Like, it is so much more. And we put so much emphasis on the actual major that we literally feel like it's make or break. Like, if we don't pick the right major, then we're screwed. We're not going to get a job. We're not going to be successful. We can't ever make money. Like, those are all limiting beliefs. So let's say your grandparents and your parents are really, really pushing you to take a major that, you know, might lead to a different career path. What's to say that you use the knowledge you learn from those courses to still like go on your writing journey? Why can't you start writing right now? Why can't you start dabbling in your novel? Also, at college, I know for my college, we had a student newspaper. It might be a physical paper or it might be an online paper, but you can write for your school newsletter. You can start your own newsletter. There's so many, or write your novel or release little fan fiction. Like, there are so many ways that you can embody being an author. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you go to college for. It doesn't necessarily have to be this specific major. It can be something that you work on alongside of it. Now, do I think that your parents should trust your decisions? Absolutely. But guess what? That's not how parents are sometimes. They want for you better than themselves, and so they will encourage you to take a path or to do something that they feel like is going to best serve you. Doesn't mean that's the right path. Doesn't mean it's the wrong path, but it's just guidance that they're trying to offer you because they love you, or maybe they just want to control you, right? What you need to focus on and do is, how can I get my college paid for, right? Because nobody wants student debt. If you do have to put like the line in the sand and say, you know what, like, I'm paying for my own college, that might be a choice that you have to make. But I fully believe if someone is going to pay for your college, make it work for you. Any way possible, make it work for you. If that is, majoring in what they want you to major in, and then maybe you can double major. Maybe you can add a minor in what they want you to have, but get your college paid for and find those fun little ways to still be a writer, still be a novelist, and work on your dream of becoming, this New York best-selling list author, right? Like, all the things. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. I don't think my family actually likes my partner. We've been together for almost 3 years now, and they don't seem excited when we talk about plans or settling down and having kids. I trust in my gut he's the one for me, but don't know if they'll ever truly accept him. Again, families are so tricky. They always want what is best for you, or what they think is best for you. Now, a couple things here. Who in your family does not like the partner, right? Like, is it just your mom and your dad? Or is it like your sibling? Is it like the entire family cannot like stand this person? Because that might be a little signal to you of, hey, why don't they like him? What is he doing? Is he treating me bad? Like, is he doing things that don't align with our family values? Is he maybe holding me back? Does he have some bad qualities? Like, trying to like separate yourself from the emotion and the feeling of, I love him so much, right? Like, T Swift just launched her Tortured Poets Department album last week, and the But Daddy I Love Him, where it's like, when it seems like it's romanticized of this like star-crossed lovers of like, it doesn't matter what my family thinks, like, this is what I want. Which, yes, like, do what makes you happy. But sometimes the people in our life can see things that we can't see, or they notice patterns that we might be literally blinded by love and are not seeing. So question, like, who doesn't like it? Is it everybody, or is it just, oh, my dad doesn't really like him, or my mom doesn't is in love with my, past boyfriend? Everybody likes the old boyfriend better, but not the new boyfriend, right? Like, that might just be growing pains. There might not be anything wrong with your significant other. He might not have like any red flags, but I would ask, like, where is this coming from? Like, boiled down of what is my significant other, my partner, doing that is like upsetting my family? And trying as hard as possible to separate your feelings away from this of good or bad. Just like observe, right? Like observe the situation, observe the interactions, observe your spouse with like your family members and also at home. Like, just try to like have a neutral curiosity to it, and then when you can stage it like that, you can see the truth. And it's not, oh, I really, really love him, or I want to do this because I want to like go against what my family wants, rebel a little bit. It's honestly like, what is actually going to be good for you? And then let's say that they just don't like him. They don't like his personality. You guys are in love. You decide to get married. You decide to have children, and your family is still not jiving. Ultimately, like, we don't get to pick our family, but we get to pick our spouse. We get to pick the family we create. And if you are picking them, then you absolutely have to have your spouse's back, like, no matter what. So that can get really, really tricky because, of course, you love your family members and you also love your spouse. But sometimes there's a decision to be made, right? Like, it might not be you putting the ultimatum on, but maybe your spouse doesn't feel comfortable now going towards your family, right? Like, because they don't like him, or your family is like, it's either her or us, right? So you are making a decision of like, I am going to move down the path with this person, or I am going to like dump them and find a new one, right? So it's hard to remain neutral and to just like approach it with like curiosity instead of, they don't want me to be happy, or my significant other does nothing wrong, like all the things, right? We can kind of be defensive when it comes to our life choices and what we want to do, but taking a step back, or even like, you didn't mention how your friends feel. How do your friends feel about this significant other? Because if your friends are also saying, I hate his guts, like he's annoying, or she's not right for you, maybe it's time that we do take into consideration of what our friends and family are saying in regards to our love life. But ultimately, it's your decision. It's what you want to do. And settling down and having kids, yes, it's like a serious thing. If you have a wedding, or if you just, file your documents, whatever, if you officially get married, you are filing legal documents, and it can be tricky to like unwind that, or, to send the paperwork in. But ultimately, like, if you make a bad choice, nothing is going to hold you back from like correcting that and going on with your life, because it is your life, and you have to be a million times like trusting in yourself. You have to be like okay with going with your gut, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You went with your gut and you wanted it in the moment, and that's what matters. I really want to plant flowers this spring, but I live in an apartment in the city with no windows. What do I do? Okay, no windows is tricky. Also, how are you even living your life? Because if I had an apartment with no windows, I quite literally would probably cry every day. It's different, I guess, if like you're going outside, but the no window situation is hard because plants need light. They go through photosynthesis. That's how it grows. That's how it gets its nutrition and creates sugar and is able to have leaves, branches, all the things, right? So to not have sunlight is not a deal breaker. It just means that you have to have artificial lighting. So you can get bulbs from Amazon. I'm sure there's red bulbs, specific like bulbs with like certain lighting. It does impact the growth of your plant. I personally, I went to school for agriculture, and I took like a horticulture class. I love plants. I've always loved plants. But certain lights, there's studies done, like if a plant just gets blue light or just gets green light or red light and how it impacts its growth. So I would definitely research the plant bulbs. Plants are really good though for your overall, like your home, the air. Like I just replanted my monstera. I ripped her apart. I now have 6 different containers with my monstera. I have a plan to like put them outside by like a little bistro setting. I'm so excited, but she needs light. And if I didn't have a window, I would absolutely have a little lamp next to her. Plants just give so much to an apartment, and if you don't have any windows, nature is just so good. It's good for the soul, it's good for the mind, it's good for the body. I definitely would try to incorporate something. Push comes to shove. You want to plant flowers, okay? You can always have fresh cut flowers in your apartment. I think fresh cut flowers are just really powerful. They completely upscale a place, right? It's more beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, makes you feel good, fragrance, color. Cut flowers are just as good as a potted plant. You could also do fake plants, okay? Nobody would hate you for that. You would have the look of plants or flowers, or you could get a slow dying plant, okay? There's no shame in killing a plant. Golden pothos are slow dying. Snake plant or mother-in-law's tongue is what it's called, also slow dying. Some people say that they're like hard to kill, but they're just slow dying. Those are great plants to have. A lot of people have like golden pothos in their bathrooms. Bathrooms usually don't have like that many windows. I know my guest bathroom does not have windows. I put my golden pothos out. If you have access to a balcony, maybe you take your slow dying plant outside for a little bit, out on the patio, out on the sidewalk, maybe just take it for a walk, so it can get some sunlight. But get, plant lights, fake plants, cut flowers. I think that's gonna be your go-to. I am so sorry that you don't have any windows in your apartment. For those who do have windows in your apartment, slow dying plants are also good. I love to put plants on my window seals. Our primary bathroom has a window in it, and I put a plant on that window, and I was reaching for a towel and I accidentally knocked it off, shattered the plant container. Dirt went all over the toilet. I'm still cleaning up remnants from this dirt, so always be careful if you're putting it on windowsill or where you're putting it. Like if you're gonna knock it over, if it's gonna be easy to clean. I personally have access to the outdoors, and I'm so lucky for that. I have like a little patch in my front window that hopefully I'm planting soon, and I have garden beds. I have multiple windows, and it just brings like so much happiness and joy for me. If you want to get into plants, but it's not your forte yet, if you don't necessarily have a green thumb, start small. Start with one, see if you kill it or not. Also, you don't have to be a plant girl if you don't want to be a plant girl. You can also be a fresh cut flower girl. You can be a fake flower girl, or no flowers at all. You know what I saw the other day? It was like these tulip champagne glasses, and so it was thrifted, but the base had holes in it, and then it was like these little tulip champagne flutes. Beautiful, stunning. Okay, you can incorporate flowers, prints, plants into your decor without actually having the plants or decor. Again, if I was in an apartment with no windows, I would move. I know it's really, really hard apartment hunting right now, and to not have windows, like that's dreadful. I'm so sorry. But plants, it doesn't have to be a big ordeal. I know that a lot of people put so much stock into like having massive plants or beautiful plants. I've killed my fair share of plants, or I've given up on them. I'm like, you know what? I think it's kind of ugly, or don't have any energy for it. So even people who love plants or have always had plants, they also kill plants. So don't even feel bad if you have your apartment, you're trying out with a new plant and it dies, okay? That's why they make fake plants. And I will always, you know, I have a fake plant in my bathroom too. Like, fake plants are beautiful as well. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you to everyone who has submitted your questions. If you want your question to be submitted, you can DM me on Instagram at goldenhourdrip, or you can shoot me an email at goldenhourdrip@gmail.com. Please rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, all the things, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!